students. So for today's video, this is a continuation of your topic in the subject business finance. So the topic for today is cash management tools. So first, we will discuss all about liquidity. Liquidity is the primary objective in working capital management. It refers to the ability of the business to settle short-term liabilities when they fall due. So, when a company is when we say a company is liquid, meaning it is able to settle its short-term liabilities. Okay? Then the basic rules in liquidity is that the business should have sufficient cash to pay for its liabilities and other operating expenses. So if you remember, diba, when we are to put up our business, we need capital. So from that capital, the capital is in terms of your own money as the owner, or you will have to acquire a loan to a bank. So when your business, it should be in liquid. It should settle short-term liabilities. Labi na yung inutang mo sa bangko para makaput up ka ng iyong business. And when a business is liquid, it should have a sufficient cash in the company. So that is what we call as liquidity. Liquidity, this also implies that it is not healthy for the business to maintain an excessive amount of cash. So it is not also healthy when a company has too much cashes in its company. Kay dapat manggod is a balance, diba? In accounting, in business finance, we are using balances. So, dapat balanse ang lahat. It should be remembered that cash is not a productive asset. So, a cash is considered as not a productive asset. It is because cash is used to pay expenses, to pay liabilities. So, parang hindi siya masyadong productive. Not in terms of the non-current assets, which are the equipment, the computer. They are the productive assets. Why? Because you can produce cashes or revenues out of those non-current liabilities. And also, the most productive assets are those from non-current assets, or shall we say the property, plant, and equipment. Cash by itself does not produce cash. Hence, yes. So, sa giingon pa na ako kanina, cash, it doesn't produce another cash. So, an asset that is productive is a property, plant, and equipment which can produce into cash. Hence, it is placed in the productive asset for it to grow and multiply. So, we can grow and multiply the cash by the use of investing into another activities of the company. For example, you wanted to produce another product, so you need a lot of cash to produce another product, which will in turn produce a lot of cashes. Okay, so that is liquidity. Now we will talk about cash management tools. Why it is important for us to understand cash management tools? It is because these are financial management mechanisms that determine the expected cash inflows and cash requirements that assist the business in determining the optimum level of cash. So in the cash management tool, you will also know how much is expected in the cash inflows. For example, you are to produce another product. You are to use a large amount of cash. So it will be useful in the cash management tools. It will be useful that you will be able to know that from that large amount of cash that you use to produce a product, how much would it reproduce a large amount of cash. For example, you use 40,000 to produce the product, and then when you sell the product to the market, magiging 50,000 ba siya, or 60,000 or 70,000? Magkano yung profit na makukuha mo from that product itself? Okay, so that is cash management tools. Now, among others, the following cash management tools are discussed in this book. Cash management preparation, cash break-even computation, and cash management model. Okay, so these are the formulas on getting the cash management tools. For the step 1, we have cash budget preparation. The cash budget preparation and the cash break-even computation. So this is the cash break-even computation. These are the formulas for the cash break-even computation. Ito yun, no? The cash management tools. The number 2, the cash break-even computation. Okay? And then the cash management model, which is the number 3. So cash management tools, cash budget preparation. Using the cash budget, the business determines the expected cash inflows and the corresponding cash outflows from various business activities. The cash budget also reflects a need for external borrowing. So sa sinabi ko pa kanina, kapag may i-produce ka na product, you need a lot of cash, right? So kailangan alam mo kung magkano yung papasok na pera when you are to produce a new product at alam mo rin kung magkano yung lalabas na pera sa company mo kung mag-produce ka ng another product. And also, you will understand from the cash budget preparation if you are in need of external borrowings. Yun yung tinatawag natin na magbabank loan ka ba or kung kanino ka magbaborrow ng pera para makaproduce ka ng another type of product from your company. So that is the number 1. Number 2, the cash break-even computation. As a cash management tool, the cash break-even computation determines the amount of cash sales needed for the total cash outlays of requirements to be equal with the total cash inflows coming from the cash sales. So, malalaman mo kung magkano yung cash sales na makukuha mo from that of the cash break-even computation. So, we will have a computation for that. The following procedure steps and formula may be used to determine the cash break-even point. So, these are the steps na ipinakita ko sa inyo kanina. So, step 1, determine the cash contribution margin. So, for the step 1, you need to identify the cash sales less the variable cash payment, and then you will get the cash contribution margin, which is for step 1. Now, for step 2, determine the cash contribution margin ratio. So, this would be the formula for step 2. You will have to get the cash contribution margin, which is you've already get it from the step 1 computation. And then you divided it by the cash sales, then you will get the cash contribution margin. Now, the last step is the step 3. Determine the cash break-even point. So, this is the formula for step 3. You will identify the fixed cash outlay divided by the the contribution margin ratio, and then you will get the cash break even. So as you can see, all of the steps are connected. When you are done getting the step 1, which is the cash contribution margin, you will have to use it on step 2. And then when you are done getting the cash contribution margin ratio, you will use it on the step 3. So that is our cash management break-even computation. Okay, for illustration, so we'll have an illustration for you to understand on how to use the cash break-even tools, the formula. Okay, so Nicanor Manufacturing Company produces plastic containers for industrial users. The following data are presented about the company's operation. Monthly unit produced and sold is 600,000 units. Selling price per unit is 8 pesos. Fixed monthly cash payment is 240,000. And then variable monthly cash payment is 40% of the sales. So now we will proceed to the computation. But first, let us go back to the formula. So as you can see, cash sales, variable cash payment, and cash contribution. So we will first identify the cash sales. So in the problem, it says monthly unit produced and sold and selling price per unit. So for you to be able to get the cash sales, you need to multiply 600,000 to 8 pesos. So we'll have the computation in here. 600,000 pesos, which is the monthly units produced and sold, and then units, and then you multiply it with the selling price per unit, which is 8 pesos, and then you will get, so let us compute 600,000 times 8 pesos, you will get 4,800,000. So from that 4,800,000, you will write it on the step 1, which is the cash sales, 4,800,000. Okay? So the 4,800,000. Now, you will get the variable cash payment. From the problem, it says that the variable monthly cash payment is 40% of the sales. So your sale is 4,800,000. So you will multiply it with the variable monthly cash payment, which is 40%. Okay? And now, from that, kunin natin times 0.40, it is 1,920,000. Okay, so 9,920,000. So you will write it here. It's 1,920,000 for the variable cash payment. So it says in the formula that cash payment less variable cash payment, ilas mo si 4,800,000 to 1,920,000. So you will less it. So you will get 2,880,000. So that is your step 1 cash contribution margin. Now we will proceed to the the step 2, which is getting the cash contribution margin ratio. So from this, gagamitin mo yung nakuha ng step 1, which is the cash contribution margin, which is 2,800,000. And then divided by the cash sales, which is the cash sales is 4,800,000. So 4,800,000. So 2,880,000 divided by 4,800,000, it is 0.6. So that is your cash contribution margin ratio. So you are done with step 1 and step 2. Now we will proceed to step 3, which is fixed cash outlay divided by contribution margin ratio, and then you will get your cash break even. So the fixed cash outlay is, it says in the problem, 240,000. So write it down immediately kay given naman siya. You don't need to compute it. And then the contribution margin ratio, which is in the problem, it is 0.6. So you will compute it. 240,000 times 0.6 is 144,000. So that is your cash break even, the 144,000. So we are done with the illustration for Nicanor manufacturing. So that is the step, or those are the steps for getting your cash break even. I hope you understand on how to get your cash break even, which is naa sa inyong module, task number 1. So you will already know how to compute, how to operate the problem. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something for today's video. Good day, class.